Last time in my personal bullet journal, I left you with week 6 of 2021, or the first week of February, and I thought this time we'd revisit and I'd show you how I set up the rest of my weeks. Hey y'all, Beth here with Dots and Beyond, back again with another bullet journaling video. This is Diana. She is my bullet journal for 2021, and she is named after Wonder Woman. If you want to see my 2021 setup, you can go back and watch that. I'll link it in the cards above. But we are going to continue setting up February. Normally I don't show setting up all of the weeks of the month. I typically just do the monthly setup in the first week, but I thought I'd do something a little different this month and show you how the rest of my weeks stack up compared to the first one. Just like the monthlies, I do start out with everything sketched out in advance. I find that's easier for me. I'm not much of a fly-by-night artist. I like to see where everything's going to fall before I put pen to paper. And just as a reminder or information for you, if this is your first time here, I am doing a Fierce Fictional Female Challenge for myself for 2021. I will link January's video up in the cards for you. That one is Okoye from Black Panther. And then here in February, I am doing Lorraine from Atomic Blonde. So if you want to go back and watch the beginning of my February setup, you can see how I set up all of those pages with my Atomic Blonde theme. In my personal journal, I do like to have a small section for each day, and then I have a larger section for a rolling task list. And then one of the reasons I wanted to do this video was to talk about how I use my Pigma Microns, or the widths that I tend to favor. So the thicker lines that you see I do with a 0.08. The FEB for February I did with a 1. And then I do these small numbers in my mini calendar and any of the small lettering with a 0.03. And then my everyday writing pen is the 0.05. They do sell those in a 3-pack at Walmart and on Amazon. And I just find that that is the best pen for me to use for daily writing in my journal. And then I do like to have some sort of theme drawing or doodle on the page. And I do use various Pigma Microns for that. I typically start off with the 0.05 or a 0.03 and then go up for thicker lines or down for thinner lines as needed. For week 7, I am sketching our lead character, Lorraine from Atomic Blonde, leaning against the edge of my bullet journal as though she is leaning against a wall. And I'm going to deck her out with some fishnet stockings. And then on the right, I have a quote that states, "She was free in her wildness. She was a wanderess, a drop of free water. She belonged to no man and to no city." And that quote is not from Atomic Blonde. It is from The Wanderess by Roman Payne, but I felt like it definitely summed up this character. I'm going to give her a little bit more embellishment here on her dress, draw in the wisps of smoke from her cigarette, and then proceed with putting in the dates for week 7 across the highlighted pink areas. That will wrap up week 7, and then I will move on to week 8. And here again, you can tell I have everything pre-sketched out. The only thing I've really done differently is to switch my task list to the left and put my days on the right, and my artwork on the right. I try to keep my months as cohesive as possible, and so I do make small changes to the layout, but not very drastic ones from week to week. The hot pink marker that I am using for these accents is a Tombow dual brush pen. It is Tombow number 725. And again, I will link all the supplies that I am using in the description box below. The other hot pink pen that you see is a Papermate Flare, and I picked that up, I believe, at Office Depot for about $2. You can tell that I am not terribly precise when doing the pink highlights for my day headers. Some of them do fall outside the lines or fall just short inside the lines, and that doesn't really bother me. If you do want yours more precise, you can always use washi tape to block those areas off before you do your highlight and get a very crisp line. The quote on this page is from Charlize Theron, who plays Lorraine in the movie Atomic Blonde, and that quote is, "I don't think you can create anything from a comfort zone. You have to work from a place of fear and failure." I find Charlize to be a real fearless female, although she does definitely play a lot of fierce fictional females in her films, and that was a lot of alliteration. Finishing up this boot sketch with Lorraine's likeness in it, and then we are moving on to week 9. For this week, I did flip my task list back to the right and put the dates back onto the left. I do prefer my task list on the right, but I do move it around just to keep the pages a little different from time to time. While my weeklies may not change too terribly much from week to week, I do experiment a little bit more in my monthly setups. I've had some ideas for my March setup that I definitely want to try, pages that I've never put in my bullet journal before. So if you are not already subscribed, go ahead and click the link below and that notification bell to receive a notification when my March video goes live. I also have not quite decided on who my fierce fictional female for March is going to be. I'm leaning towards Storm from X-Men, but I haven't made up my mind. So if there's any suggestions that you have, feel free to put those in the description box below. I am doing this dark coloring in with a Tombow dual brush pen as well. This is the black and it's an N15, and I keep about 3 of these fully stocked in my stationery at all times because you quite never know when your black pens are going to start to run out on you. And then the quote that I chose for this page is by American author Jennifer Donnelly from her book Revolution, and that quote is, "For mad I may be, but I will never be convenient." And you may have seen me pause and jot that down on a post-it note because I was about to cover up my sketch with black. That was a decision I made sort of at the last minute, and I knew I was going to need to remember that quote, so I jotted it down beforehand so that I can come back in here and get it put down on the page. I am definitely a collector of quotes. I gather them from all sorts of places, and I do actually keep a commonplace book. I've started a new one for 2021. That's not something that I've done an official setup video on or shown to anybody, so if you're interested in seeing what my commonplace book looks like, let me know down in the comments, or even just leave me a quote about strong women or from a fierce fictional female that I could possibly include in an upcoming monthly setup. As I wrap up week 9, we are just going to go ahead and keep rolling on sort of as a bonus, and I am going to set up my playlist and my review page. Obviously, I will be leaving my review page empty until the end of the month. I have just posted my January review page on Instagram, so if you want to go see what my review pages look like, feel free to click on over there. Handle is @dotsandbeyond, just like it is here on YouTube. The stencil I am using I picked up in a pack from Microns. I will link that for you in the description box as well with the rest of my supplies. And then of course, spanning the 2 pages, I have yet another sketch of Lorraine from Atomic Blonde to end it off with the theme. That was a little larger, took me a little longer to do. I did take this off of one of the movie posters, so that's where the design came from, but I do like the way that it turned out, sort of with the monochromatic black and white and then just the pops of pink. To view my full Atomic Blonde playlist, feel free to hop over to Spotify. You can find me there at Our Lady Beth, or I'll definitely link my Atomic Blonde playlist below. I am very active on Spotify, and I have a lot of playlists for a lot of different things, including some fan playlists like this Atomic Blonde one, and all of these songs that are on this playlist came from that one that I actually have, except it's about 3 times longer. In this particular sketch, Lorraine still has her signature sunglasses, her signature cigarette, her pistol, and a boomerang. And then to top it off, she is wearing these fantastic 1980s fingerless gloves. And to create the holes in those gloves, I do use this stencil to get those circles pretty close to in position. I will color around them and not be so worried about whether I accidentally make a circle an oval, but it definitely gives the illusion that I was going for. Filling this in does take quite some time, so we are going to bump this up to a 20 times speed and see if we can get through this just a little quicker. As I'm filling in the rest of the spread, here are some of the songs that are on that playlist, just in case you're curious. And I Am the Fire by Hailstorm, The World We Made by Ruel, Black Sheep by Jen Wigmore, Paint It Black, the cover of the Rolling Stones by Ciara, Freak Show by Dead Posey, Hypnotic by Zella Day. It's a pretty good playlist. If there's any songs that you'd like me to add to that, I'm always open to those as well. I take suggestions for my playlists all of the time. And that's it. I'm wrapping up by putting in the artist names with that hot pink Papermate, and we're ready for the flip through. Thank y'all for planning with me as we set up the rest of February with weeks 7, 8, and 9, as well as my playlist and review. Again, I can't promise that I will do this every month, but I will probably drop one of these in from time to time just to see how my weeklies may change through the course of the year. Again, to see any of these spreads filled out after the fact, please make sure and follow me on Instagram at dotsandbeyond, as I will post pictures of my spreads over there at the end of each month and throughout the month. Thank you guys again for watching. The bullet journal community is the best. Bye-bye.